All right. Well, my name's Talmadge Smedley. This is the first time I've made one of these videos. But I've been thinking about some things that I wanted to share. And of course, the best way to share nowadays is social media. And I've been watching and paying attention, and I found out that the way you do that is by videoing you while you're in your vehicle, preferably while you're driving somewhere. So, that's what I'm doing. Driving to work, I'm going to share a couple thoughts. So I make my living training dogs and horses. That's what I've been doing for 20 some odd years now. And also I know a thing or two about teaching an animal to do something. But I watch some videos of people out there sharing their thoughts, a lot of times in their vehicle, while they're driving or while they're sitting still. Either way, doesn't seem to matter. But they're sharing their thoughts and their ideas. And there's this deal going around out there in the dog community and the horse community, where we've decided that we want to, divide ourselves up into groups and then fight amongst ourselves, argue about whether we're a good trainer or not, the correct way to train versus the incorrect way to train, humane, inhumane, all these different ideas. There's those that are positive reinforcement only, those that want to ride the horse and ride it and train it without ever putting a bit in its mouth. There's even some training that goes on without ever riding the horse. I mean, everybody's got their own opinions, but then they vilify each other and fight against each other when they're doing the same thing. So, I've been thinking about it. And there's a principle that is used in all decision making, whether it's dogs, horses, people. I mean, that's what I've worked with. Might be the same with birds, I'd suspect. Well, I mean, it is. It's the same with everything. It's a universal principle. But, pressure is the stimulus for action. And that's just how it is. If there's an action, there was some kind of pressure that created that action in the beginning. You're driving down the road on a road trip, you're starving to death. And you drive into this little tiny town, looking around, there's really nowhere you recognize to eat. You've never been there before, but you see Mama's Cafe. Looks a little shady, but you're starving. So you pull over, you go inside, you sit down, and Mama cooks you up a meal like you've never had before. And you think, man, Mama can cook. You have that meal and you just, you absolutely love it. So, 2 years later, you're sitting down at dinner with a friend. You're planning a road trip. You happen to be going through that same area. You turn to your friend and you say, hey, we got to go through there and stop at Mama's Cafe. Mama's Cafe is phenomenal because Mama can cook. Right? So the first time you went through there, you were starving. There was that pressure that drove you to make the decision to stop and eat. Yeah, sure, the next time you go through there, I mean, when you're planning it, you're eating dinner, you're full. You're not even hungry. But you're planning it, and you remember how satisfying it was to eat at Mama's Cafe. So you plan to stop at Mama's Cafe. So maybe that decision was made more on the rewards that you're going to get than on stopping a pressure that you're feeling. But originally, you made that decision based on a pressure you were feeling. Everything's like that. I mean, I've thought of a lot of different things, and I can't think of a single thing that somebody does, a single action that somebody does that didn't start with some kind of a pressure or stimulus to create that action. It's just how it works. Babies are born, they come out uncomfortable, and they immediately start trying to figure out ways to get comfortable. They figure out if they cry, they'll get fed. They feel uncomfortable, they cry, they get fed, they feel comfortable again. They start putting it together right from the beginning. But it's a pressure, and then the release of the pressure and the reward. And that creates our behaviors. So sooner or later, people, they eat, and they don't even feel hungry. I mean, they never stop eating long enough to feel hungry. Sometimes we eat just to soothe our emotions. We're upset. We're stressed. It doesn't have anything to do with hunger. It's just another pressure, and we think that if we eat, that'll help soothe that pressure. All right, so all actions come about that way. And that's the same thing with the animals. You know, when we're training animals, we're trying to work on either internal pressures, we call those drives. You know, they got internal drives that drive them. Some are very, you know, for dogs, some are very treat driven. Some are toy driven. You know, some have a ton of prey drive. We work off that prey drive to teach them how to do things that we're asking them to do. There's all kinds of different drives and pressures. Then we've come up with ways. We've come up with a little bit of leash pressure. We've come up with a little bit of electrical stimulation, you know, which everybody wants to get all excited about and think you're abusing the dog, which you are. If you turn it up high and you're just cooking the thing for no reason, okay, that's abuse. But at low stimulation levels, you can't even feel it. When I start to feel it, it's kind of a little tickle. Come on. You know, that's just another line of communication. It's a way to not have to have a leash on the dog to communicate. So, we won't go into that today, but we create some kind of a stimulus. When we get the action we desire, then we remove the stimulus and we reward. And everybody does it. Everybody does it. I don't care if you're feeding a treat. There's a stimulus. The dog wants the treat. You withhold the treat until you get the correct action. You feed it. It was pressure. It was the correct action. It was a release of the pressure, and it was a reward. I mean, everything's that way. So that's why I get confused as to why people fight amongst themselves and villainize each other. You know, every one of us loves our animals, or we wouldn't be doing it. We're out there training because we enjoy training. We enjoy the animals. So we all love the animals. We're all trying to train them. We're all trying to do the best job we can. And we're doing it with the tools that we've been taught. You know, the things that we've figured out or that somebody's shown us and taught us. So we're limited in our training according to what we've been exposed to, what we've been taught. But that doesn't make us a bad person. You know, that doesn't make us a bad trainer. There might be better ways, but we haven't learned those yet. And most likely, when we learn them, we'll start using them. If they work better, we'll use them. If they don't work better, we don't use them, right? Every one of us is the same way. We're all in this boat together. We're all out here trying to figure out the same thing, how to communicate with these animals, how to teach them what we want. You know, we love our animals. We want the best for our animals. Maybe we don't understand some of the ways that we could make our animals' life better, or make it easier for them to learn, or make it more rewarding for them to work with us. But, you know, we can't hate each other from our lack of knowledge and experience. You know, none of us are perfect anyway. Some dogs are going to work good off of a treat. Some dogs work good off toy. Some dogs, they don't care about the toy and the treat because they want to go find the bird in the field. And, you know, that's a whole different deal. So I just think we got to be a lot kinder to each other. Spend less time fighting against each other, because there is an enemy out there. There are those that just think we shouldn't have animals at all. So, you know, I think that's the enemy, not each other. Just my thoughts. Talk to you guys later.